Video for this afternoon. My name is Kalk van der Merwe. The date of this specific recording is the 21st of June 2022. Why am I so formal to my old friend sitting here? There's a reason why. This video is maybe a little bit broader. I'm going to speak here to employers and corporate employers, specifically relating to the whole issue of forced vaccination of their policies in the workplace relating to mandatory vaccination. Esteemed gentlemen, men and ladies, you must be aware of the following. When I started this campaign over a year ago, I made it very clear to people that what you envisage as business people is not underlined and underscored and built on South African law. It's foreign, it's been copy and pasted by certain attorneys firms being very clever from American law that is totally foreign to our legal system. It doesn't even fall into the family, the same legal family as ours, and therefore it is not going to have any impact in South Africa, and it's in the end going to become unenforceable for you to convert policies and create policies at huge cost to your companies. But in the end, you will be unable to enforce those things. I've been validated now over and over again. So I propose the following. Let's deal with the issue of vaccinated employees. Those people that actually vaccinated, either by choice or by coercion or whatever means, but they are now vaccinated in your workplace. You realize that you are going to sit with a next wave of problems, not the next wave of the virus, but the next wave of the problem, in that most of those employees now needs to boost. If they do not receive the booster shot, they are unvaxxed again. They basically become unvaxxed. They also sit with the problem that if they are not boosted, and this is not my science, it is your science, then their immune system, unfortunately, is not strong enough to stand up to what is thrown at it. And you can sit with a very sick and sickly workforce to your availability. So let's be very honest about the whole thing of the vaccinated employees. I see it on a daily basis, how those people become ill. They have the adverse effects of the vaccination that they received. Many of them simply their bodily powers go down. I find it often that people will report to me when I consult with them, but Skalk, before I took the jab, I was like this and that and the following, and now I can't even pick up the files in my office and work, or in the next office, walk to my office without feeling tired out, right? Vaccinated people, unfortunately, we told you so, and it's not being sarcastic when we say this, we told you that you will experience adverse effects of this thing. We now know it's also not fake news and it's conspiracy theory. Aspen Pharmaceuticals came out in a court case, and under oath, they basically opened up the whole Pandora's box of what can be seen as adverse effects. I was expecting a couple dozen, maybe a couple hundred. Turns out there's thousands of known adverse effects to the vaccination. Okay, so the thing that you put into your body, unfortunately, maybe stopped the virus, although apparently it didn't stop the virus, but unfortunately you're now sitting with things inside your body that you can't get out. That's there forever. That has intrinsically changed your immunology inside your body. And employees, you must realize this now. You're sitting with, if you vaccinated 80 or 90%, as some people boasted, you're sitting with a workforce that potentially 80 to 90% in the next 3 to 5 years are going to experience serious medical conditions, serious adverse effects to the vaccination. So you will have to start planning for that. But that's not the point here. The point here is those people must now go for boosters. They must get boosted. If they are not boosted, obviously they are seen to be unvaccinated. You must also remember that vaccinated employees can still, number one, contract, but number two, very importantly, can also transmit the disease. So you will have to find ways of stopping that. It's also been reported to me, and you find it at conferences where the vaccinated people come there, they socialize, and they don't follow the NICD rules, and they stand around in little groups and chatting, and maybe doing some things after the convention, and then by Monday morning or Tuesday morning, everybody in the office is sick, right? Because they can still contract and they can still transmit the disease. That is the vaccinated employees. The hardcore unvaccinated employees sitting in your business, you cannot do anything at this point actually against them any longer. If you thought that your policy that you got from your brand attorney in Sandton or wherever, or sitting here up in Silverton, in Pretoria, that policy is still enforceable, it's not. The policy itself relating to COVID had certain time frames. I don't know if you're even aware of that. It had certain time frames. You fell outside those time frames in most instances, and therefore your policy in terms of those regulations are invalid in any event. You cannot act upon them any longer because they were never within what the scope of the legislation put there. They're basically illegal. It's as simple as that. So if you did not follow certain time constraints and time rules relating to your COVID policy, you didn't file it, for instance, with the Department of Labour in due time, etc., etc. It's just a piece of paper, and with the greatest respect, Mr. Employee, your unvaxxed employees and your vaxxed employees doesn't even have to read through those documents. It's basically just paper. It's scrap paper. You can write your notes during your AGM that's coming up a couple of months from now. You can write your little notes on that. It's scrap paper, it's nothing else. Okay. In the meantime, the emergency / disaster period formally ended. There were interim, very clearly, go and read what I published this morning, that was published yesterday by Minister Paula, interim regulations will most probably within a day or two from now not be enforced any longer. I spoke about it extensively this morning. Government is now saying no, but the document was leaked, which number one confirms it's their document, but number two, it basically proves that the content is true. It's out there. It's running amok, guys. You can't keep a lid on these things. The moment something like this is discussed and the minister puts his name and a date to a document, it's going to go out there. You can't stop it. You can't go then into the mirror and say, no, it was leaked. It's of no consequence saying it was leaked. It's there. We know that within 72 hours from now, we will see something else, but we know that you cannot, from the wording of the document itself, you cannot make it stricter. You can only drop it. Okay, so we know those things. Mr. Employer out there, you didn't even have time to go and enforce these regulations because the regulations are going to be repealed or are repealed in actual effect already, even before you could do what the regulations are saying. Simply put, in South Africa, there's no law at this point in time to even underpin what you are doing. You cannot dismiss an employee through operational grounds. You cannot say that he is committing misconduct and fire him through disciplinary inquiry. And you can most certainly, Standard Bank being one of them, not dismiss people for incapacity. They are not incapacitated. They are healthy. They are willing to do their jobs. There's no problem with their work performance. Okay? And in your own policy, it says that actually those people with natural immunity are not affected by the policy. They are outside the policy. So the long and short is, Mr. Employer out there, you will really have to go and rethink this whole thing of a policy relating to COVID and other communicable diseases in future. Okay, you can never force, in terms of South African constitutional law, but also law of general application, that being the Labour Relations Act, that being the Employment Equity Act. The Employment Equity Act is legislation that comes directly out of the Constitution. You cannot have the policies that your clever attorneys in those sentence firms told you you can, or that consultancy firm here in Silverton. I don't know if they're still in Silverton. Copy and paste it from American law. Remember, The COVID law was also invalidated in the United States. So you're sitting with nothing. You're sitting with bullshit that was peddled to you at huge cost. And you're going to sit with the risk now. You're going to sit with a multitude of CCMA cases that you will most probably lose. And if you don't lose, we will take you on review to Labour Court, and for the next 5 years, you're going to have litigation, litigation, because of the poor advice and the poor policies that these people peddle to you at huge expense. I hear that in some cases, some corporates paid more than millions to enforce their policy to these attorneys' firms. Yes, it was a money thing all along, wasn't it? Okay, how do you solve the problem? You man up, you grow a backbone, you go and sit with your directors and your senior managers, and you say the next thing to one another. Number one, let's scrap this whole thing, and we go on and we focus on what we are supposed to do as businessmen. Make money, not enforce new age, new world order political agendas. We are here as business people to make money, not even create jobs, make money. Because if we make money, then we put the economy into a working mode, we stimulate growth, jobs are created, more jobs are created, more money is generated, and we start building an economy. That is what a businessman does. Stay out of politics. Stay out of politics. Nothing to do with you. It's not where you're supposed to be. Therefore, you have politicians. Go and buy them off and let them do the dirty work for you. But you as a businessman, I'm being a little bit naughty now. I'm not saying that all businessmen are corrupt. But please, just scrap the whole thing. If it's impossible for you to just simply scrap the whole thing because there's going to be too much egg on your face, then find the softest way of continuing. If you want your employees to test, find the softest and most cost-effective way of testing those employees. Right? If you follow the NICD rules, which apparently is going to fall away, but if you follow those rules, the workers are not supposed to be in a position of danger. But if you need test, even PCR tests, and I'm not a proponent of PCR testing, there's enough science to tell me it's bogus, it's making money again. But if you need, in your mind, PCR testing of your employees, send them in working time on your cost, because then they can't really refuse it, right? But at least then you satisfy your own need for this. Do not use the PCR testing, which is extremely expensive. We're speaking 5,000, 6,000 rand a month, to make it impossible for your employee to go on with these duties. You are causing your employees to become so negative and so unproductive that you're killing off your own business. I also picked up a trend. I picked up a trend that it's actually the most experienced people with many years of service, sometimes decades of service, who says, I'm not going to get vaccinated, I'm not going to comply, and you get rid of those people. How can you ever replace those people in your business? Artificial intelligence, AI? Yes, you could build in a little computer program. Unfortunately, the human touch is lost, right? I know of businesses that I am the consultant of, who tried it, who started dismissing employees through retrenchment and putting artificial intelligence into their place. And it works. And it's very cost effective. But the human touch is lost. If you lose the human touch inside the business, my friend, your business will take 3 to 5 years from now, even if it's a strong business, and it will fold. Okay. You need people. You need brains. You need people to interact and exchange ideas and feel emotions and show emotions. That is how you manage a business. Not by pressing a button. Right? So be very careful of what you are actually doing to your own businesses. You're creating your own business, or you're creating the problem inside your own business that will cause it to fail in 3 to 5 years from now. Hear what I'm saying. I've been validated on every single thing that I said the last year. I've been validated pretty much on every single thing I've said the last 10 years. In the end, Skalk is right. Why? Because I read a lot, because I speak to people a lot, because I move around, because I open my ears and I open my eyes and I apply my mind without anybody interfering into that, right? I don't watch the news, I don't watch CNN, I don't read newspapers, because then I hear the opinion of people, with the greatest respect, more stupid than I. And I base my decisions on that. How stupid is that? You're a businessman, you've been running your business, you know your trade, you know your people, you know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Why go outside and then follow the nonsensical advice that you are receiving, that in the end causes more damage to your business than it can ever do good? Okay, so my proposal to you is, if you need to proceed, if you can't scrap it, just simply scrap it. But if you can't scrap it, then follow the softest route and make it as easy as possible for your employees and get positivism back into your work ranks. Get your people to buy in, not force them. Make them understand why you need this, not sending them a letter with a finger saying, if you don't do this, we're going to dismiss you. Right? You're speaking to workers that sometimes working for you decades. Right? Respect them. Respect their human rights. Understand that they are earning for themselves their own livelihood, but in most instances also for families, and sometimes even extended families. I preside over disciplinary inquiries on a regular basis, and I always take cognizance of the fact that statistics shows that one earner in South Africa, one breadwinner in South Africa, usually looks after 8 to 9 other people. So if I take out one person, I also take out the means of feeding and housing 8 to 9 other people. Think about that. So follow the soft route. PCR testing, go to your workforce, if there's a trade union in the workforce, or to the workers themselves through staff meetings. Have the discussion with them. Guys, we're not going to stop you from coming into the office. Come and do your work. Be productive. Produce. Make money for us. That is why we are here. We're business people. We have businesses. We need money. In the end, we need to pay tax, but we will get to that in another video. But please come back to the office. We invite you because we love you and we adore you and we have appreciation for you. But we need testing, maybe, still. We will pay for it. And we will give you time off to go and get the testing. And if you need to do it after hours, log the hours and we will pay you for it. My friend, I guarantee you, because I've seen it with my own clients, I can guarantee you, you will see how your workforce just simply turns around and how peace is brought back into your workplace. And if there's peaceful, happy workers working for you, the production shoots into the sky. You know it, I know it. This is how good business is done. So please listen to my advice. Please listen to my advice. The week that is coming, the next 2 weeks that's coming until the end of this month, is going to be crucial for everybody in South Africa. You as business leaders, you need to take leadership now. Be strong enough to accept that you walked the wrong path, it's not working. Come back to the path that is working. And just go out and make a huge fucking heap of money for us. That is why you are there. Leave the politics to the politicians. Leave the crime to the criminals. Right? What you do is what you've always done. You make money. I don't see a businessman as a person. Sorry, I said it. I see him as a production unit. Become that production unit. Know that you can produce in a month, you, Mr. Businessman, you're the production unit. You can produce 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 100 million rand this month. If you do the things right. Go and make money and leave the nonsense to the people running around out there who are most probably more stupid than you are, and you're following their advice. Just simply forget about them. and do your own thing. Okay, let me end off this video on this positive note. I will be engaging quite a host of employers the coming 2 weeks and so. And I hope we can, in finality, turn this nonsense around now. People out there want to work. Business people out there want and need money to continue with their businesses. So bring the two together. As simple as that. IPSA, Luke, I know you're running a very similar initiative in the financial sector. You have my full support. Wherever you need my advice, wherever you need my platforms, it's to your availability. But we need to get those people to now start producing again as business people. Not as politicians, not as to be influenced by people more stupid than they are. Because we are sitting with the most excellent business people in the world. Not because of, despite of this government, we are still growing this economy. Think about that for one moment. That is the stuff that you businessmen are made of. Don't go and screw it up now with COVID policies. Have a very nice day. I'll speak to you later on.